hello there. Welcome to Right Hook on this Wednesday. Happy hump day to you. As always, here's hoping you've humped today. We've got a big show for you. It's good to be with you. I wasn't here last week on Friday because I was in a wedding. So, congratulations to my nephew Drew and his beautiful wife Kim. Wonderful wedding we had down in Georgia. I welcome my friend Michael Lauber, who is here once again. He is a co-host on the Insurrection right here on X American News. Hey, Michael, how are you, brother?
Oh, living the dream as always.
There you go. Hey, let me ask you something before we even get a dive into how the Democrats have lost their ever-loving minds. Um, have you ever seen that show, the new Sylvester Stallone show, Tulsa King?
I have not seen any episodes of the show. I've seen one or two clips.
It's a damn good show, and he's very good in it. And the reason I bring it up is because this place where I did the wedding in Carrollton, well, it's in Fulton County, so it's in the county of Atlanta. But if you didn't know better, you'd think you were in the middle of the country because you are. Fulton County is a very, very big county, and it's a very long stretches. So there's lots of country areas there. But the reason I mention is because where this thing was, this wedding, the entire season 3 of Tulsa King was filmed there. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I was talking to the owner, and he said, "Yeah, Sly is he's just a regular guy. You'd never know he was this big Hollywood star until you see him and start talking to him, and you're like, holy cow, I'm talking to Rocky Balboa." And
And
he just
Rambo.
said, yeah, and Rambo, exactly right. And he just said that he couldn't have been nicer. And the whole season 3 apparently takes place in this. He's decided to take on the whole premise of the show is he's a mafia guy who got booted and basically exiled to Oklahoma, hence the title Tulsa King. And he goes to Tulsa, Arizona, Tulsa, Oklahoma, rather, and just creates his own empire there. And this season 3 is him trying to run a legit business, no doubt for the purpose of washing money. I haven't seen
Sure.
it yet, but it's a distillery. Now, the wedding was not held at a distillery, but the place could look like a distillery, and that's what they did. They dolled it up to me. But it was really, really cool. So I just wanted to mention that, do a little Sly Stallone name dropping. But it
Yeah,
was
nothing wrong with that.
yeah. Uh, so before we came on, I was watching the news, watching the boob tube. Trump is holding a roundtable, which will probably still be going when we get off the air because you know how he is. He just goes and goes like the Energizer Bunny. But the whole purpose of this roundtable discussion today, and I mean, everybody's there from Kash Patel to Pam Bondi to Dan Bongino and a whole bunch of victims of Antifa. So the whole premise of this roundtable discussion is the coming destruction of Antifa.
It's about
And I got,
time.
oh yeah, and I got to tell you, it was very interesting to hear what they were saying. They're basically saying we're going to go after if you've donated $1 to Antifa, we're coming for you. Uh,
Good.
so this is, and the reason I bring that up is because this is part of the reason why Democrats are losing their minds right now. Trump is having great success. I argued with some of my conservative / libertarian type friends who are like, "Oh, Trump's not doing." I'm like, "Hey, look, guys, you can't let perfect be the enemy of good. He's doing good. He sealed the border up tighter than a drum. He doesn't import. He exported all these people. What do you want him to do? Literally round them up on train cars? And I mean, you can't do that. But you
Sure, you
can.
can.
Well, yeah, but there's a political price to pay for that. But I do think he's doing great job. And if he's breaking down Antifa, that's another feather in his cap. Uh, I'm with you as far as deport.
Okay,
But
so fine. We save the trains till after the midterms. That way people have forgotten about it by the time the next presidential cycle rolls around. Okay, sounds good to me.
well, we'll see. Apparently, the self-deportation thing is working pretty good too. I was just in Hartsfield, Atlanta Airport, and there's some ICE signs there that are basically in Spanish telling people, "Hey, this is how you can self-deport, and we're going to give you some money." So they're not being shy about how they want these folks to kind of do it themselves, save taxpayers some money. and they get a little party, a little golden parachute on the way out the door. So we'll see. But my point is that when you're dealing with something this big, you're dealing with, it's like eating an elephant. You got to do it one bite at a time. Can't take it all on at once. And I think he's done a hell of a job. But the Democrats are losing their mind because not only is he going after their quote unquote new voters that they have in the pipeline for the next 30 years, he's going after them in a big way. But we know what he did with USAID. He shut that down and he basically stifled all the dirty money that was being washed through various corrupt NGOs and then handed right back to the Democrats. So that's got them freaked out. They've lost that funding source, USAID. They're losing their base of the future by being exported or self-deporting, and not to mention they're not getting any new ones over the border. And now he's going after Antifa and saying, not only are we going to bust the thugs in the streets, and by the way, that meme you sent me, Meal Team 6, do you have that?
I can get it pulled up. Give me a second. It's actually old though. It's from 2020.
Well, it's funny as hell. I never saw it back in 2020, and it's funny thing is it still holds true today. That's about what the Antifa guys look like, guys and gals, and the non-binary types. But that is going to be a problem for Democrats because a lot of these funders are major Democrat funders as well. Not just talking about George Soros. We're not just talking about the guys at the tippy tip top. We're talking about people that are just writing Antifa a check because they stupidly believe that, hey, if they call themselves anti-fascist, they must be anti-fascist, regardless of the fact that they use fascistic tactics. So that's what the whole purpose of the roundtable was today. And so Democrats, all of this added together, plus the government shutdown, and Democrats are losing their grip on reality, losing their grip on the popular opinion. And I think Schumer really stepped in it with this. I mean, you got to give it to Mike Johnson, man. Here's a guy, Speaker Johnson. He passes a clean CR, and then he says, okay, everybody can go home. And he hands it off to the Senate. And now Schumer is doing what Schumer does, being an a-hole. But the main reason he's being an a-hole is because he knows that he's going to have a primary breathing down his neck with AOC. And there it is. There we are. Antifa Special Ops, Meal Team 6. Doesn't that guy look intimidating? He looks like one of the Hanson brothers on the movie Slapshot after about an all-you-can-eat buffet for, a year straight.
He looks like somebody that could tow your vehicle if he ran out in front of you.
That's probably why he's got the Kevlar stretched so tightly over his gut.
I wonder what that cost. I mean, it's like a ballistic blanket.
Made it for him. His mom probably made it for him. It's probably, there you go, Meal Teams. I love that. These people are such, I won't say it, but they are the worst of the worst.
I might have another one for you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, but I mean, so when you start going after the funding mechanism of this organization and these far left groups, you're tapping right into the wallets of Democrat campaign coffers. And this has got the Democrats absolutely panic stricken. And that's the part that's not being talked about. The reason they hate Trump so much is there's a whole myriad of reasons. There's all kinds of reasons they hate him. But one of the main reasons they hate him is because he's taking them out of the money game. They can't raise any money. Nobody wants to give the Democrats money. And those that do it kind of, they leave off a couple of zeros that they may have added a couple of years ago. So they're having a hell of a time raising funds. And this government shutdown with Schumer at the lead is doing them no favors. I mean, he did it because he's afraid of being primaried by AOC, and New York City is one of the only areas, well, at least on the East Coast, stupid enough to vote Zoran Mandami in as mayor, and they may well do that. But they're also stupid enough to okay, now you put this up here too.
Yeah, so remember, if you're a liberal woman, have your prostate checked.
Yeah, check your prostate, that's for sure. And it should also be said, if you're a liberal man, get ready for perimenopause and stuff and the hot flashes.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I really think that the Democrats have screwed themselves badly on this.
Oh,
We'll dive
absolutely.
into that. We'll dive into that in a little bit. Also, before we really dive into some of the clips, I wanted to read this article. As you know, Michael, I am in New Jersey, home of the Scarlet Knights, Rutgers. Rutgers is a joke of a university. Both of my kids, when they were looking at schools, they knew my opinion on Rutgers, and then but my youngest went and looked at it anyway, and she came back and said, "Yeah, you're right. Screw that school. They're crazy." This is a school that had several years ago had Condoleezza Rice lined up to give the commencement address, and then the student body went so nuts at the fact that Condoleezza Rice would be giving their commencement address that they withdrew the invitation and they gave it to Snooki. So what does that tell you? That let me do. Who do you want to hear from, Condoleezza Rice or Snooki? We'll go for Snooki. And that's what they did. But now a petition launched at Rutgers about disbanding Turning Point USA's chapter at Rutgers. Petition has been launched calling the disbanding of Rutgers University Turning Point USA, accusing the conservative group of promoting hate speech and a toxic environment. Mind you, they provide zero examples of this.
Of course.
Change.org, Marxist, launched this the petition this week, claiming that the TPS USA chapter has incited violence and made the community fearful. Tough. Grow a spine, grow a pair.
Yeah.
Having lived in New Jersey my entire life, I've always cherished the inclusive educational environment we have cultivated here, says Change.org's Alexander Filippo. Anyway, he ran. So they believe inclusivity, just not conservatives. That we can't include them. Christians, absolutely no way. Are you promoting capitalism? Get out of here. We don't play that game here at Rutgers. And this is what's going on now. Now, of course, Rutgers is, firing back and saying this petition is defamatory, and I wouldn't be surprised. See, here's the thing. As much as Democrats are circling the drain right now and losing the script and losing the country and losing their base, TPUSA is growing and expanding, and that scares the hell out of them too. So they do stuff like this, and they go to a school like Rutgers because they know that those kids there are just stupid enough to sign this. Not all of them. I know plenty of Rutgers grads and some alumni that are actually mortified about where the school's direction has gone recently. But there's a good chunk of students at that school that are absolute brainwashed morons, and this petition kind of proves it.
Yeah. I mean, if you are alumni at Rutgers, start, reach out to them. Tell them you won't be making any future contributions till they change their behavior. Yeah, well, more need to. Start hitting them where it hurts. Go after their programs, go after their teachers, go after their money. Otherwise, it's not going to stop. The beatings will continue until something improves.
Get this, Michael. A lot of this got started because Rutgers TPUSA chapter started talking. I'm trying to find it here. I should have highlighted this. This is lack of show prep. Mental note. Get that together next week. A lot of the reason this got started was because here it is. Last Thursday, the Turning Point USA chapter at Rutgers launched a petition to remove Mark Bray. Mark Bray is a Rutgers University professor, citing concerns of his past statements supporting Antifa. Bray, who is the author of the book Antifa, the Anti-Fascist Handbook, the Anarchist Inquisition, Assassins, Activists, and Martyrs in Spain and France. So this is who this guy is.
Yeah.
And he also wrote the book Translating Anarchy, the Anarchism of Occupy the Wall Street. So this guy is a screaming Marxist, leftist, nihilist, anarchist. That's who he is. And TPUSA pointed that out. And that, of course, immediately launched so he was he split campus. He left.
I think he left the country.
What?
I'm pretty sure he left the country because,
I think he went to England.
Yeah, what prompted him leaving was, he was making literal threats of violence. I can't remember if it was Twitter or Blue Sky. I want to say it was actually Twitter. And when somebody asked him for a further explanation, he basically said, well, the Second Amendment needs to be utilized. So, again, one of these wackos, hopefully we extradite him back. Again, we need to start charging these people with providing material support to a terrorist organization and then treat them as so. A couple public hangings might back some of this stuff off a little bit. And they could do it right there on campus, even better.
Even better, sure. Listen, it's just crazy. And what's going on, of course, in Chicago with Pritzker, in the governor of Illinois, fat Fred Flintstone-looking moron that he is, and his equally stupid, if not even more stupid. I love that. That guy was on the car. Those guys in ICE was like, "Oh, you're not going to walk? We'll give you a ride."
I got one more for you after this.
Okay, fire away. Let's see it.
All right, 1 second. This is also this is one of my favorites, the Antifa unicorn. I think the Proud Boys did this to this guy. Give me 1 second. Sorry, I just saved all these without names so I could get them over here.
You are a meme machine, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's too bad they're all coming from my phone. Then it'd be easier to find them. All right, where is this guy? It's taped to the...
Well, while you're looking, I'll just go on here. So Chicago, as you know, is Brandon Johnson, their idiot mayor. Every time the guy talks, he doesn't make any sense. And it's like, what? And he's saying that he's got now, last week he declared, I think it was actually early this week, he declared ice-free zones in Chicago. Good luck with that. And they're basically saying that
Yes. So if you can't read what's on his chest, it says, "I'm a unicorn." Patriots duct taped this Antifa member to a trash can and attached a dildo to his head. I don't care who you are. This is funny.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if that guy ever saw the light or if he's still out there marching. Probably the latter. Well, so Chicago PD Superintendent Larry Snelling was asked about this. You may have heard that the ICE officers in Chicago recently were boxed in by 10 cars. They
happened twice in one day, by the way.
Yeah, twice. That's true. Twice in one day. So these people are looking to get shot upon. I mean, or they're looking to fire upon these officers. Maybe a little bit of both. Because they're anarchists. They don't give a damn. If a little bit of blood spilled, it makes them happy. So Chicago PD Superintendent Larry Snelling was talking about these ICE agents. And I got to tell you, if you're a cop in Chicago, you've got to be absolutely livid at your mayor. And I don't know why they haven't just seen a whole raft of officers just walk off the job. Probably have. We saw it happen in New York City under de Blasio and then under what's his name? The other moron. And I bet that's happening in Chicago. But listen to what Larry Snelling said. Clip 1, go.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger. Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force. And they can use deadly force in response to stop you.
Okay. So you can, I mean, you can just sense the anger in that guy's voice. He's furious about it. I'm sure he's also furious about that moron that sent out the stand down
order. Yeah.
Yeah. It was not him. That much we know. It was not him. He had nothing to do with that.
Do you happen to hear the tape of the dispatcher that she couldn't believe it either? She even asked for clarification after they told her to tell the cops to stand down and not go support ICE. But she went ahead and made the calls on the radio after confirming that was their policy now, was to run away when ICE needed their help. But yeah, every one of these assholes should be charged with attempted murder. They already let two of them out of jail. The woman that drew the gun after ramming the vehicle and then had to drive herself to the hospital after catching a few lead aspirins. But every one of them should be charged with attempted murder, terrorism, everything else. Lock them up. Make sure they never see the light of day ever again. And I'm not talking. And again, this should be pursued as a coordinated attack. So this is a conspiracy against law enforcement. Lock them all up, and all 10 of them that were and any passengers that were in those cars, get all of them. With the other attack, same thing. Throw the book at them. These people are not going to learn a lesson if we keep just giving them minor charges with a month in jail.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And it looks like that girl that you're talking about, Bondi said at this roundtable today that they're going to pursue her. They're like, she has not seen the last of law enforcement. And I think her quote was, she'll never see the light of day again, to borrow a line that you just said.
Good.
So we'll see. Now that was kind of right as we were going on the air, so I may have missed exactly what she said, but you can tell they're going after these folks. And this, of course, needs to be done. I tell you, these anarchists, they don't give a damn if guns start coming out. That's it almost doesn't it seem, Michael, they want it to happen.
I think they do.
ICE to kill somebody.
Yeah, I really think they do. And again, we talked about this before with a lot of these insane leftists that want their representatives to get more involved, to get out there in the streets too, right alongside them. Like, they want a martyr. They don't care who it is, and they're going to invent one otherwise. Eventually one of these people is going to have to get taken out by ICE. I mean, this lady's lucky she survived. Close contact with police in a shooting like that. She's lucky she's not already a corpsicle. But it's going to happen, especially if they continue to assault people. And local law enforcement refuses to get involved. I like that they're talking tough, but again, we haven't seen that. Last weekend, Pam Bondi, same thing, said, they weren't going to tolerate this anymore. You had Kristi Noem out there, same thing, but they are tolerating it. Let's be real here. They're still moving these human traffic cones out of the way every time they block a vehicle. They're not charging people for slashing tires. They're not charging them for most of this stuff. If there's a direct assault or something like that, then yeah, maybe they'll charge them. Maybe they'll haul them into one of the facilities. But it's got to be a zero tolerance policy. They want to stand on the side of the road with their signs and be little nasty assholes, fine. But any of them that are putting their hands on, blocking vehicles, or doing any of the rest of this madness, they've got to start locking these people up, and with serious charges.
And I think I kind of got the sense today at this roundtable that was kind of them saying, okay, we've drawn our line in the sand. And I think it's probably because Trump is kind of thinking about where you're coming from. This has got to stop, and it's got to stop now. And it looks like they're definitely going to put some more teeth in this effort to stop them. Did you watch Bondi when she testified before Congress yesterday? Did you watch any of that, or the day before? Was it yesterday or the day before?
Good question. I think it was the day before. Bits and pieces. I watched a lot of clips, and there were definitely some good moments there. But again, I'm tired of the tough talk. I want to see some handcuffs and some charges.
Well, I think we're going to do that, but it is fun to watch sometimes. Here's a clip of Bondi just absolutely decimating Micro Dick Durbin. This guy, Micro Dick, didn't know what he was walking into when he took on Pam Bondi on this. And of course, Micro Dick is from Illinois. So this directly affects him. Listen to what Bondi said to Micro Dick.
I am not going to discuss any internal conversations with the White House with you, Ranking Member.
I noticed that. What's the secret? Why do you want to keep this secret? The American people don't know the rationale behind the deployment of National Guard troops in my state. The word is, and I think it's been confirmed by the White House, they are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Been on this committee for more than 20 years. That's the kind of testimony you expect from this administration. A simple question as to whether or not they had a legal rationale for deploying National Guard troops becomes grounds for a personal attack. I think it's a legitimate question. It's my responsibility. She refuses to answer as to whether she had any conversation with the White House about deploying national troops to my state.
Your city has a murder rate 5 times higher than New York's. 571 homicides last year. If you were serious about protecting your people, you would be asking this administration for help. You're saying that we're coming into your state and your city. We're there to help make America safe and Illinois safe, whether or not you want to.
I believe cutting federal grant programs.
Yeah. Micro Dick is just such a Micro Dick. I just can't stand that guy. I mean, I remember the comments years ago when he was talking about the if I didn't tell you that you'd be thinking I was talking about the Gestapo or Hitler's SS or whatever. When he compared our troops to Gestapo members. It's the same old tactic. But you know what, Michael? I don't know about you, but I'm starting to get the sense, and have been for some time now, that the mood has shifted in this country, and it wasn't just the death of Charlie Kirk, although that lit a fire under a lot of people, no question. The martyrdom of Charlie Kirk has lit a fire, especially in the younger generation. But the normies, as you like to say, are waking up, and they're not buying this BS that Durbin and Schumer and the rest of them are spinning. And more power to Pam Bondi for calling him out. Basically, if you're not going to protect your city, we're going to.
Yeah.
And then again, she really rubs it on him like, you've shut the government down. Our officers are out there literally dodging bullets and cars and getting, all kinds of crap thrown at them. And they're not even getting paid right now.
Actually, I think she might be wrong about that. I think ICE is getting paid because that was included in the big, beautiful bill, or at least that's what I've seen a few other people report. But the rest of the federal officers
maybe
are
ICE,
not.
but not all of them.
Yeah,
not all of them. We'll see. But her point remains the same, that Chicago has allowed its city, much like Portland has allowed their city, to become a cesspool. In the case of Chicago, it's mostly on the south side. It's mostly gang on gang violent, black on black crime. And to Democrats, that's fine. That's just the nature of poor black people. They kill each other. What do you want us to do about it?
Yeah, they don't care. They only care about
as racist as you can get.
Yeah, they only care about it when they can use it to pad the school shooting numbers because a stray bullet catches a building, or they report a lot of clearly gang-on-gang violence that takes place even after hours when the school's closed as school shootings. So yeah, they don't care about anything unless it helps their agenda.
God, but that's what I mean. People have woken up to it, I think, don't you?
Well,
don't you get that sense?
Well, I do, and I think the middle, the normies, the people in the middle, are all of a sudden they're seeing, the stuff that we talk about on the right. They're ignoring the left. The mainstream media is yet another all-time low. Believe it or not, they've fallen off even further in their numbers than they were when I usually talk about it. 60% loss and 40% loss at CNN. So they've fallen even further than that over the last few months. You know, they were all sniffing Jimmy Kimmel's farts there for a few weeks, for making him some free martyr for free speech. His ratings have since fallen off by 80%. He's actually lower than he was now before this controversy.
I know.
With him.
He Bud Lighted himself. Oh, you gotta love it.
Well, and there's another rumor circulating right now that it's unconfirmed. Well, part of it's confirmed that what's the other dingbat, Colbert? Apparently, they're going to be running reruns for him the rest of the week, and some people are saying that he's being quiet fired. That they're just going to run reruns on his show through December when his contract ends. Hopefully, that's the case. But yeah, I think there's a real shift in the public sentiment. They're tired of this stuff, and Twitter being opened up, they're seeing the memes, and that's really what does them in. Picture is worth 1,000 words, just like those Antifa images we pulled up earlier. That these people are idiots. Nobody wants them around. Nobody wants their little leftist terrorists in their city. People are sick and tired of it, and they continue to embrace it. And then they're getting the stories the media is trying to ignore, like this Jay Jones nutbag over there in Virginia and all his text messages. So the dinosaur media can ignore it all they want and try to prop up the Democrats any way they can, but they just continue to eat crow.
Yeah, that's right. I'll tell you what, just by way of example, Stephen Miller, who's one of our favorites, goes on CNN. He's talking to CNN's Boris Sanchez. Now, again, before we play the clip, this is going to be clip 4, but before we play it, CNN has hemorrhaged so many viewers over the last couple of years that how that network is even afloat, I don't know. And if it wasn't on cable, it would not be afloat.
Yeah, especially after losing the dreaded coma patient demographic and trapped in an airport demographic. I don't know how they're ever going to recover from that. Yeah,
exactly right. It's like I always say about The View. The only time I've ever seen that show is when I'm waiting in a dentist office. Otherwise, that show, I don't see it anywhere, and I don't even. Once upon a time, I used to get those clips of Joy Behar and Whoopi and Aram and say, look how stupid they are. But now it's redundant to even do that. If it's a clip from The View, it's going to be a bunch of liberal harpies getting everything wrong and having their clapping seal audience just cheer along to their idiocies. So I don't even bother with them anymore. But Stephen Miller, that's different, because when he goes on CNN, he absolutely dresses down this Boris Sanchez guy. It's a little bit of a long clip, but I didn't edit any of this because I just kind of want to get the sense of it all. Watch what Miller does. Clip 4.
Of terrorist assaults and violence attack over 100 nights, and yet the judge overseeing this case says that that's untethered from reality. And local officials on the ground say that Trump's assertion of what's happening is in Portland, that it's war-ravaged and burning to the ground, is far from true. I looked at the police data, and police have made something like 70 total arrests since June, and there are no reports of buildings being burned to the ground. The White House cited a guillotine being rolled out as like a public display of rebellion, but there isn't actually a threat that these demonstrators are going to overthrow the government. Are you concerned that that response weakens your legal argument?
No, they are actually, as we speak, trying to overthrow the core law enforcement function of the federal government. Boris, this is, I think, where we're talking past each other. When ICE officers have to street battle against Antifa, hand-to-hand combat every night to come and go from their building, when they try to exit in a vehicle, when they are swarmed and surrounded and they try to tip the vehicle over, when people bring weapons to an ICE facility to try to engage in direct violent assault against ICE officers, what is the purpose? It is to prevent Immigration and Customs Enforcement from carrying out the mission the American people elected them to do. Their objective is to make it impossible for ICE to carry out ICE enforcement. When in our history have we tolerated unlawful riotous assemblies night after night around FBI buildings or ATF buildings or DEA buildings? This is the textbook definition of domestic terrorism, using the actual and imminent threat of violence to keep federal officials from doing their jobs. And unless we send in troops and resources, then we will continue to bleed federal law enforcement resources in these street battles. It's absurd, it's unconstitutional, and must be put down.
You cited Title 10 a moment ago,
Right
and
on.
under that statute, you need either a foreign invasion, a domestic rebellion, or a disturbance that inhibits the ability for law enforcement to carry out federal law. But ICE is still conducting operations. Like the facility hasn't been overrun. It seems like local officials are fairly in control of the operation if ICE is still able to execute its mission, is it not?
Do you have any idea how much of ICE's workforce and resources have had to be reprioritized? How much of the Joint Terrorism Task Force's resources have had to be reprioritized to fight these domestic terrorists? Do you have any idea how many resources are spent
Stephen, you keep
trying
calling
to
them
hunt down and
terrorists, but
track
isn't that
every,
hyperbolic to call them terrorists?
What is? If anything, I'm understating the severity of the situation. What issue was more central in 2024 than turning back the border invasion? And since the day we came in, ICE officers have been subjected to a nonstop campaign of physical violence and harassment every single day. And outside the Portland field office in particular, every night, they come, they assemble, they fight, they try to impede movement, they physically attack. For what purpose? Because we had an election, Boris. We had one. What's the purpose? To use
Stephen,
actual physical violence to change the result of the election, to say you cannot turn back the border invasion. Do you have any idea how many resources we have had to redesignate to deal with these street terrorists?
You explain that. Let me ask the question.
Okay.
Let me ask the question.
I swear, if we were doing a 2-hour show, I'd let that whole clip play, because Stephen Miller, they hate him. God, they hate him, because he's so crystal clear. He doesn't equivocate on anything. He explains it to you.
Yes.
And he doesn't get hyperbolic and angry about it. He just says, this is what, do you have any idea what's going on? This guy, Boris Sanchez, I say, yeah, okay, so they attack him. Yeah, so they hit him. Yeah, so they ram him with their cars. Yeah, so they box him in. Yeah, smoke bombs. Yeah. We get all that. But you're still doing your job, so why do you think they're terrorists? I mean, what a stupid ass. At one point in the interview, Stephen Miller actually laughs in the guy's face. He's like, are you, you got to be kidding.
Yeah.
But, of course, Boris Sanchez is not kidding. And this is why CNN is circling the drain. This is why they all are. But Stephen Miller, man, and this is why also, Michael, I say that while it's true that we can bitch about what has and has not been done by Bondi and the DOJ regarding arrests and stuff, this guy Miller, he's got Trump's ear all the time. And I guarantee you, every little clip that we see on X of them throwing the orange cones at the cars or throwing rocks at these vehicles, Miller's going right into the White House with his iPad and going, here you go, Mr. President. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what this roundtable was all about was, okay, time to crack some skulls.
Yeah. I mean, they've given them plenty of opportunities. They really should have gone into skull cracking mode after the LA ICE riots and started rounding these people up. And then maybe we wouldn't have had this wacko in Texas taking shots at them, unfortunately killing 2 detainees, which again, we're going to continue to see more of this if something isn't done. I mean, I think we're going to continue to see more of it regardless. And we had this other terrorist at the Supreme Court. And again, make no mistake, that's what he was. Now we've got his manifesto out, this 9 pages or whatever. But these are all leftist wackos. They're being activated all over the country. They're being funded by a lot of these NGOs, from Soros, by Bill Gates, by Neville Singham, by Reid Hoffman and others. Yep. And it's time to go after them. It's time to make this stop. Otherwise, it's going to continue to escalate. Like I said this before, and I would not be even the least bit surprised to get up in the morning one of these days and see that there's been another attack on one of these ICE facilities in Portland or Eugene or Chicago or Dallas, where Antifa brought guns and opened up fire again. Yeah, Seattle. Pick your city. New York. I won't be at all surprised to see that happen, an actual firefight on the ground, or to find out another conservative commentator or activist has been gunned down by these losers because they can't win in the battle of ideas. They're losing public support. People are waking up to their shenanigans and deciding, you know what, it'd be nice to get back to having peace in our cities again.
Hear, hear. Well, listen, we've got to take a breather. We come back on the other side of it. I want to dive into the the government shutdown, which apparently they backed away from it again. Today they had an opportunity to reopen the government. Schumer and the Democrats have decided to keep it locked up. They don't want to shut down the government just yet. If we make people bleed and make people suffer hard enough, maybe they'll come around to our side of our way of thinking. I guess that's Schumer's calculations, stupid though they may be. But we'll get into that. And we'll also, did you see the California gubernatorial candidate, Katie Porter, absolutely just loses her ever-loving mind on what would be really considered a pretty friendly network, CBS. Although CBS, they seem to be tacking back to the middle a little bit here and there. So we'll show you the clip on that. If you didn't see Katie Porter, and by the way, that little meltdown has already reverberated into polls. She's starting to sink, and she was the leading candidate. So if you didn't see that clip, we'll show you that as well. You're watching The Right Hook with me, Steve Hook, and my partner, Michael Lauber. We'll be right back after this.
Life can be pretty unpredictable, filled with good days and not so good days. And sometimes, the only difference between the two is your level of preparedness. The Jase case lets you be better prepared for whatever comes your way. It contains antibiotics and other prescription medications so that you aren't caught unprepared. With the Jase case, you are able to get your prescription medication before the unpredictable happens, allowing you to turn those not so good days into great ones. Go to jase.com now and get your own Jase case.
Yeah, it's a great company and a great product as well. I mean, supply chains interruptions can devastate, especially the pharmaceutical industry, man. We get way too many of our antibiotics and other drugs from overseas. And if you get these supply chain interruptions, guess what? You may be SOL when it comes to getting your meds. And by the way, this happened to me personally several months ago when I was taking one of my meds. I couldn't get it. And they had to give me something else. Didn't work as well. I got through it. I'm fine. But the good news is I had enough of that med in my Jase case to where even though I did get a prescription for a different med just in case, I never had to actually use it. You know what's happened to that med now? Now I just threw it in my Jase case because now I got it there. It's good. It's a great company. Go check it out. JASE.com, Jase.com. Use the promo code HOOK and get an additional huge savings on your first order at Jase Case, and go design your own emergency medical kit. It is not a first aid kit. It is it's like a pharmacy in your closet in a nice little convenient packaging, case, whatever. Anyway, okay, Michael, let's do this. Schumer. Here's what they're trying to tell you now. Democrats, when their lips are moving, they're lying. They're trying to make the case that Trump and Republicans are trying to destroy ACA. Now, there's no doubt that Republicans have wanted to rip this thing out by the roots since it was first passed because it's a crap law and everybody's healthcare has gotten worse. Healthcare coverage, rather, has gotten worse since the passage of Obamacare. There's just no doubt about that. Things have gotten more expensive. You've lost your doctor. Everything they promised you wasn't going to happen has happened. So what they did was they said, well, we're going to put on a little bit of extra financing to help keep this thing afloat, but it'll only be temporary and it will have a sunset. And when that sunset goes away, then we'll get back to normal spending and everything should be fine. Well, Republicans wanted to keep them to that. Said, okay, well, you're funding a lot of illegal immigrants with this. You are, and even if they say they're not, they are. So we're going to pull that money away because this is money that you never intended to spend anyway, and now you're pissing it away. So here's what Schumer had to say. Now, we're not going to play this whole thing because this is just a Schumer, basically a campaign ad. But listen to how Chucky is trying to sound tough here. Clip 3.
So now we're in a government shutdown. And you may be asking yourself, how the hell did we get here? Donald Trump and the Republican Party are hell-bent on taking health care away from 60 million people, closing community clinics, rural hospitals, nursing homes, all so they can keep giving tax breaks to their billionaire friends. It's a disgrace. So Democrats have 3 words for this. No fucking way. It's literally life or death. We will not let Republicans blow up our healthcare system. And this isn't the first time they've tried to do this.
Okay,
Total
enough.
repeal of the
So
Obama.
you get the general gist. What were you gonna say? Your mic's not on, buddy.
Sorry about that. So I want to point out something here real quick, too. So Schumer's mentioned rural hospitals. So the proposal the Democrats have put forward specifically strips the funding from rural hospitals that was given to them in the big, beautiful bill. So, again, not that I ever expect this guy to tell the truth, but, again, they've been playing word games. And surprisingly, we've seen a few random acts of journalism, even on CNN and MSNBC, calling them out on this, trying to say, oh, well, it's the undocumented. Oh, some of these people are here on, they were paroled into the country. So they're basically playing word games to deny that they want to fund illegal aliens health care to the tune of $350 billion over the next 3 years with this continuing resolution. And that's not even getting to all the other insane things they have in there.
Well, we'll get into those insane things in just a minute. But Tim Burchett from Tennessee, he answered Chuck. You gotta love Chuck. Whenever they start throwing around the F-bomb and stuff, they're panicking. They're trying to appeal to a younger, angrier crowd, Antifa type members. That's who they're trying to appeal to. Because they know that if Chuck Schumer said, no effing way, God, he must be serious about it, which of course is a joke. But these people are just stupid enough to believe him. So Tim Burchett answered him. Let's go. It'd be cut 6, but the one I sent you.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. Democrats keep talking about Republicans trying to deny health care. Well, let's look at the facts. The ACA, or Obamacare as it is called, was started in 2010, and President Obama, I believe, shut the government down for around 13 days for that to get it passed. People were told they could keep their doctors, their health care go down, and that was the famous, poor Pelosi said, we got to pass it to know what's in it. And then 2021, under another name, it was expanded, and it was set to expire. And these are all done by Democrat initiatives, mind you. And then it was set to expire in 2025, and they knew it was going to expire in 2025. There's no secret, hidden agenda. And yet, people's health care prices have doubled and tripled in some cases. And it's supposedly, they could shop around. They can't. They could pick their doctors. They can't. And it's caused really just a nightmare for our healthcare system. Anytime the government gets involved with something, it seems they ruin it. And this is a perfect example of that. And the insurance companies are getting fat off of it. And this is what the Democrats want to put over $1 trillion in. And now they're claiming that we're shutting down government to keep that from happening. It just doesn't add up, folks. It just doesn't add up. For once in several generations, the national media is not buying it either. Everybody knows what this shutdown is about. It's about providing health care for illegals. It's in the bill. It's on page 57, I believe section 2141. You can check me on that, but that's what this thing's about. So thank you all for sending me here.
You gotta love that. No F-bombs from Tim Burchett. Just a cold reading of the facts. The only thing he did miss was it's not just about covering illegals. It's also about saving Chuck Schumer's seat from a primary from AOC. That's what it's just pathetic. It's just absolutely pathetic.
Well, they're also trying to secure the coveted, transsexual vote from other countries with $3.6 million for cooking and dance workshops for male prostitutes in Haiti, $4.2 million for LGBTQ projects in the Western Balkans and Uganda, $6 million to subsidize Palestinian media outlets. Go figure. That's probably the only people to write something nice about them right now. $3 million for circumcisions and vasectomies in Zambia. $833,000 for transgender people in Nepal, $500,000 for electric buses in Rwanda, and $300,000 to sponsor a pride parade in Lesotho. I'd never heard of Lesotho before, but this is a tiny little country up in the mountains in Africa. And I guess they need a pride parade that we've got to foot the bill for.
And by the way, for those of you saying, "Oh, what, you don't give a damn about African LGBTQ plus L1A groups?"
No, I don't.
Well, first of all, let me just say this: no, I don't. But secondly, I remember how they worked Haiti. It becomes a slush fund. It's corrupt to the core. All these little earmarks for pride parades in Soweto, or whatever the hell that little nothingness of a country that you mentioned.
Yeah, Lesotho.
All of that is so. How much do they want for the pride parade?
$300K. That better be a nice pride parade in a country I've never heard of.
Yeah, that $300K would probably basically double the GDP of that country. But the point is it's all about kickbacks to the Democrats. That's what this is. That's why they freaked out about USAID. That's why they lost their mind over shuttering that useless, dirty money laundering operation that it was. That's why they lost their mind, because money. That's why they are losing their mind over the cracking down on Antifa, because again, money. It's money to them. This is why they supported BLM, and BLM Patrice Kohlers ends up going out and buying 6 mansions. You know, it's all corrupt as hell. And Burchett just kind of calls him out on it. I'm glad he said, because he echoed your point. Even the media is not buying this crap anymore. How do you think this is going to end, Michael?
Well, I think eventually it's going to end when the Democrats that work for our federal government finally feel enough pain. You know, I was promised 100,000 resignations yesterday from Dem operatives still working in government. They didn't materialize yet, but, you know, Trump hasn't successfully fired the other 750,000 they were planning on. So hopefully that happens soon, both of them. You know, they're aircraft controllers. I hear they're causing all kinds of problems today, calling in sick, not going to work.
Yeah,
and, you know, and it is harmful to, like, you know, especially troops living on a budget overseas or here, to all of a sudden not get a couple paychecks. You know, they don't make a lot of money. I do want to bring up one other point on this real quick. You know, with all the problems with cannibalism in Haiti, do we really want to be giving them $3.6 million for cooking lessons? That seems like a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a good point. Maybe the Clintons can go over there and open up some more cell phone stores.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you talk to the average guy on the street in Haiti, and you mentioned Bill and Hillary Clinton, and they spit fire. They're pissed because they got bamboozled by the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, way to link them all up too. Hillary Clinton, Haiti, frazzle drip, cannibalism. It's all coming together now.
Well, listen, we don't have much time left, but I promise you this clip from Katie Porter. This woman, here's the thing. For one, she's a California Democrat. So right out of the gate, you know she is batshit crazy. And she's also used to living in the bubble of California Democrats. So everybody agrees with her. So why would anybody ever question her? Well, she goes on CBS and they ask a pretty innocuous question, really. I mean, how are you going to win if you can't appeal to the 40% of your state that voted for Trump? And that was the question. There's nothing that is not a gotcha question. That is not a loaded question. That is a very honest assessment. How are you going to bridge the gap? You'd have to get all 60% that didn't vote for Trump to vote for you, all of them, or you'd have to get some bleed over. So that's the way the question went. Pretty basic question, don't you think? Well, yeah. Katie Porter didn't find it very basic. She lost her mind, and now she's losing voters because of it. Cut 5.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, ma'am?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're thinking.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you going to ask them not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an experience.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel
you
like
need
this
them
is
to win.
unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
Correct. And I
argumentative.
said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And we're
Porter,
just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never had to do
reporter.
this before, ever.
You've never had to have a
end an
conversation
interview.
with
To end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make.
So you're not going to answer.
So that is a meltdown right there. She's like, you know, she doesn't. She laughs at the thought of Trump supporters. You know,
she's entitled to those Democrat votes. She doesn't need. She answered honestly the first time. Then she realized she effed up. Once the follow-up questions come, then she looked like a fool. So yeah, hopefully it ends her political career. Probably not, though.
Well, it's California, so I mean, if that happened in, say, I don't know, North Carolina, it would. If it happened in Georgia, it would. And by the way, North Carolina and Georgia are not bright red, but California, I don't know, man. I don't know if there's any saving that state just because they've so badly screwed the cities up. Outside of L.A. and outside of San Francisco and Oakland, and sadly to say, even San Diego these days has gone way bluer than it ever had been before. I mean, San Diego used to be pretty conservative, and maybe it's a little bit purple now. But outside of those major metropolitan hubs, California is bright red, bright red. In a lot of parts of it. I know some very strong conservatives, and guess what? A lot of them are thinking about moving.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's your underlying problem right there is, you might be able to win some cities, some counties here and there, but there's just most of the conservatives have left and gone elsewhere. It's the taxes, it's the policy, it's everything. And you have no hope of winning L.A., San Francisco, a lot of these areas. You've got these just blue-haired moonbat that have totally seized control, and anybody with 2 brain cells to rub together is left. I mean, imagine that. They're tired of stepping over needles and poop in the street.
Yeah, I mean, that's like nirvana for them. Needles and human filth. Yeah, whatever. But if you point it out, you're a racist. You're not compassionate. See, it's compassionate to allow that to happen, but it's not compassionate to point out that, hey, why the hell is this happening? Anyway, bunch of crap. Anyway, I hope Katie Porter gets her ass crushed. And apparently this interview meltdown has absolutely started to kind of, she's spinning down. She's spinning down the drain with the rest of them. They have lost their mind, folks. We'll see how long it goes on. I think it's only going to get worse as long as this government shutdown happens. It's only going to get worse for them, rather. And also, as we mentioned earlier in the show, Michael pointed out that when somebody does take a shot at an ICE officer, when there is another tragic ending for somebody's life, they're only going to dig in deeper. They have absolutely lost their minds. Anyway, you got anything else to say before we call it a day?
Not at the moment. Just wish everybody a happy day, a wonderful week, and keep your eye on the prize. We got to win this. Yep. See you Friday.
That's right. We'll see you Friday. Once again, remember, every Wednesday and Friday, 4 to 5 p.m., right here on X America News. Go to xamericanews.com, like, bookmark, share, do all that stuff. Help. And by the way, also, please go to our sponsors. That's what keeps us on the air. Until Friday, thanks for joining us on this Wednesday. Michael, goodbye to you, sir, and goodbye.
See you Friday.